It's the 29th of May, 2026, and today we're in the yard of the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad, where we find something old that's new again. Sitting on the roundhouse lead, we find the Ghost Town and Calico Railroad, 340, ready to head north across 6th Street, a road she has not transited over on rails in well over 75 years, if not longer. Originally built as the Denver and Rio Grande's number 400 and named the Green River, this Class 70 locomotive was erected by Baldwin in 1881 as the first of a long series of these consolidation locomotives. Knocked off primary freights at the Denver and Rio Grande by the bigger locomotives that would begin coming online 20 years after her forging, these Class 125s numbered from 450 to 464, later known as the K27s. The Class 70s would be relegated to smaller jobs such as running on branch lines and places where the bigger locomotives would never venture, such as the Black Canyon of the Gunnison. Reclassed in the reorganization of the Denver and Rio Grande in 1923, she was put into the C19 class, the C standing for consolidation, the wheel layout of the engine with 2 leading wheels, 8 powered drivers, and no trailing truck, a 280. While the 19 would stand for 19,000 pounds of tractive effort. The 400 would be renumbered into the 340 and would toil along the original main line of the D&RG through the Black Canyon of the Gunnison and work out of Montrose, and would also be borrowed out briefly to the Rio Grande Southern until the rails were pulled up on the western slope of the Rockies in the 1950s. Loaded up after being sold to a farmer in Southern California to help appease crowds gathering at his wife's fried chicken restaurant southeast of Los Angeles, Walt, the farmer, bought passenger cars from the defunct San Juan passenger train that had run over the line between Durango and Alamosa, and an assortment of freight cars, along with Sister 41, originally the 409, that had been sold to the RGS in 1916. In addition to the trains, Walt would amass a collection of 19th century structures and items to create a theme park to entertain those awaiting delicious servings of chicken. And yet still, with vintage trains and tasty chicken, it would become only the second most popular theme park with steam locomotives created by a guy named Walt in Orange County, after another upstart was constructed by another Walt in conjunction with a mouse 3 years later. The 41 and 340 would reside and work from the 12th of January 1952 onward at Walter Knott's Berry Farm, where the orchards evolved even to more than just an amusement park, but a full-fledged destination with even a hotel and water park. Here the diminutive locomotives would roll around their 5/8 of a mile loop, heading into right turns in perpetuity. Though briefly, in 1981, the 340 would be lifted up, turned 180 degrees, allowing both locomotives to meet pilot to pilot for their 100th anniversary of their erecting by Baldwin. 70 years after leaving, the 41 would make her way back to the southwest and return to Colorado, where she entered the Durango and Silverton's roundhouse and back shop, where she would receive her most extensive rebuild in a century, if ever, since leaving Baldwin. In late 2023, she would make break-in runs along the D&S's main line, but no public excursions before the locomotive was loaded up and sent back to California. The next year, in 2024, the 340 would be loaded up and returned home to Durango, where it too would receive the masterful touch from the crews in Durango. For the next 2 years, she was squirreled away in the shop, spread out in pieces, thoroughly looked over with parts remachined, renewed, and repainted, before finally stepping out into the brisk night air before midnight on the 28th of May, 2026, for a short trip onto the turntable and slinked once again back into the bay of the house. The next day, she was once again fired up and rolled onto the ready track, where we found her in mid-afternoon as shop crews gave her a final look over before heading to the car shop, where she hooks on to a 3000 series boxcar and Combine 211, another graduate of a complete rebuild, this time by the car shop forces. From what could be described as nothing more than a chicken coop, they have resuscitated a piece of Colorado history into a rolling, railroad-roadable museum piece, now in the care of the Lake City Museum of the Hinsdale County Historical Society. Together, these two pieces of equipment will constitute the first train in 75 years the 340 will pull on the main line, as it will pull them over 6th Street, first public crossing since leaving Montrose in 1951. We follow along as the 340 makes multiple stops en route to the Event Park Y north of town, as it follows recently shopped and oil-converted 481 on its break-in runs. A contrast between the newest Rio Grande narrow-gauge locomotive to become oil-fired versus the 340, one of the oldest when it was changed in 1952, now with the majority of its life on liquid fuels. Of course, this was all a prelude to the next weekend. Unlike the visit by the 41 a couple of years earlier, this time the 340 would pull public excursions to Cascade Canyon and return, beginning on the 5th of June. These trips over 2 days would feature a standard consist of 2 Durango and Silverton coaches, the 257 and 311, the Shenandoah and the McPhee, freshly restored Combine 211, and Caboose 0540 bringing up the markers on the rear. On June 5th, the consist would also be supplanted with a 3000 series boxcar tucked in between the locomotive and coaches.
The cylinder, the piston cover on the fireman's side looks like it looks like it has a dent in it.
Oh.
That's all she wrote, boys.
Test runs completed during the week, we return north to Durango, where we begin our journeys with the 340 on the 5th of June, where we wait for the daily trains to clear the depot before the 340 stages up on the platform with her train for the weekend.
They're
Is this your truck? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we don't park in front of us.
During the afternoon of the 6th, the 340 takes to the siding at Home Ranch in the lower reaches of the Hermosa Valley. Here she clears the main for 473 with a private charter en route to Cascade Canyon that will return to Durango well after dark. We'll leave the 340 here until the next day and chase the 473 north towards Rockwood and wait for trains 462 and 464 to meet us there before turning in for the evening.
Congratulations again, married, man.
It's 7 in the morning on the morning of the 7th, where we find 340 once again pulling the full consist as it pulls a photographer's special. Between here and Cascade, we'll do multiple run-bys as the 340 struts her stuff for the passengers on board. We'll chase from Durango to Rockwood, where we'll be dropped off and head into the canyon with the 340. We hop aboard at Rockwood, where the 340 will take us through the Rockwood Cut, where the roads can no longer follow along. Our first stop this morning will be the High Bridge, just south of Tacoma, where the 340 will leap across the raging Rio de las Animas below on its way to oblivion, before every drop disappears before reaching the ocean. We take the siding to clear for both trains 461 and 463. The daily trains led by K36's 481 and 482 respectively. Between the two on-time daily passenger trains, we'll also perform 2 run pasts at the power plant in the brief 45-minute interval. Turned on the Y at Cascade, we've backed up to Goblin Fire, where the 340 salutes the skyscraping peaks for the last time during the foreseeable future. We've taken the hole at Rockwood to allow for a quick mechanical servicing stop and to allow a Narcoa speeder group to overtake us. Due to time constraints on this busy railroad, we're now treated to a quick false start out of the Rockwood cut before heading home to Durango. The Durango Depot finds the 340 discharging passengers for the final time in Colorado. From the platform, the 340 will round the loop encircling the engine house and begin its sojourn towards the skyscraping palm trees and roller coasters of Orange County, her home, one that has been longer than she had in Colorado. Tomorrow, she'll be loaded on a lowboy. She'll roll down the window and put down the top, and be whisked away to a place where everyone's happy, because the sun's shining all the time. We'd like to thank the folks, of course, at the Durango and Silverton, and event coordinator Russell Harrett for hosting these public runs here. The crews of the Ghost Town and Calico Railroad for continuing the nearly century and a half of spirit of Rocky Mountain narrow gauge railroading alive in California. We'd also like to thank our longtime friend Ron Burkhart for his additional footage that he's allowed us to use for this presentation.
There's no escaping it. It's too late, man. You're in the. You just made it. If it could get in focus, I could get you in the blooper.
Is it a big deal?
That was awesome.
What's the big deal? So how do you feel not being in the blooper reel?
I'm offended.
Yeah?
I'm offended. Yeah. Who's ever running this PR is just, this whole world's going to shit. Get that thing out of my face.
Foamers be foaming any train out there.
Do you think you reached the end of the video? You did. I'm Big Deal. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you click subscribe so you get more content like this delivered right to you. And also, make sure you check out another one of these wonderful curated videos brought to you by the algorithm. I'd like to thank you for watching.